If you've never had to fill an entire bathtub with snow just to use the toilet, hoping it would melt and provide you with at least some water, then you've always been incredibly fortunate.
Ukrainian strikes are carrying straight into the new year, maintaining relentless pressure deep inside Russian territory. Russian media and local telegram channels report that drones have struck the Kazan chemical and industrial complex in Kazan, triggering explosions followed by a large fire. Footage from the area shows thick smoke and flames rising above one of Russia's most important industrial zones, turning Tatarstan into yet another hotspot far from the front lines. In early January 2026, drone activity over the region intensifies. On January 2nd, authorities repeatedly declare a drone emergency, confirming heightened air defense activity. The Russian Defense Ministry reports that several drones are intercepted over Tatarstan on January 1st, but the alarms do not stop. Local sources again focus attention on the Kazan area, previously targeted, as air defenses activate and traffic is restricted near the city's chemical cluster. While there is no official confirmation of fresh direct hits on the plant itself, on January 1st to 2nd, Kazan remains a high-value target. The facility produces over 170 types of chemical products, with annual output exceeding 1 million tons. Ethylene polymers, copolymers, and polycarbonates form the backbone of its production, materials critical to Russian industrial chains and defense logistics. This strike pattern fits a broader trend. Just days earlier, Ukraine's security service reportedly hit Russian oil production platforms in the Caspian Sea 3 times in a single week. Together, these operations underline a clear message. Ukrainian pressure is not slowing down. In the new year, the strikes are non-stop, and Russia's strategic rear is no longer a safe zone. Published videos and satellite images confirm the damage to the oil depot in the town of Rovenki, in the temporarily occupied territory of the Luhansk region. According to the Dnipro-Osint Harbuz community, most of the facility's tanks were destroyed or severely damaged. The damage was caused by FP-2 attack drones, which were used to target elements of the fuel infrastructure. The published materials show burnt-out tanks, damaged tanks, and traces of a large-scale fire on the territory of the base. According to media reports, the oil depot was struck at night, after which a fire broke out at the facility. Local sources reported that fuel tanks were burning for a long time, accompanied by repeated detonations. It is known that the facility was used to store and transship oil products for the needs of the occupation infrastructure. The fire at the oil depot was visible from different parts of the city, as confirmed by eyewitness videos. The occupying forces claim to have localized the fire, without providing detailed information on the extent of the damage. However, the fact that the oil depot was damaged and the tanks destroyed is confirmed by open visual materials and satellite images. As a reminder, the Ukrainian Defense Forces recently hit ammunition, drone, and fuel depots in the temporarily occupied territory. In Russia's energy superpower, Krasnodar Krai, Belorochensk has spent a third day without electricity or water, with around 60% of the town still cut off. Residents are melting snow in bathtubs just to wash and do dishes.
If you've never had to fill an entire bathtub with snow just to use the toilet, hoping it would melt and provide you with at least some water, then you've always been incredibly fortunate. I just went outside to collect water specifically for washing the dishes. We're scooping up a huge pile of snow.
My previous one had already melted, and this is the third pot that I'm bringing, and this is all that's left, and this one was completely full.
And so much needs to be entered.
Footage of the alleged attack on Putin's residence. Very convincing, isn't it? The video is being widely circulated outside Russia. It is suspected that it is likely aimed at audiences in countries where people are not very familiar with AI technologies.
As a result of analyzing the downing of Ukrainian drones, one of the Chiklun V modifications was discovered. The warhead of this particular drone is a high explosive charge weighing 6 kilograms. This high explosive charge is packed with a large number of damaging elements.
3 tankers carrying Russian Urals crude are on their way to Reliance Industries' Jamnagar refinery. Kepler has reported, as cited by Bloomberg, despite U.S. sanctions targeting the biggest oil companies in Russia. The vessels are carrying some 2.2 million barrels, with the sellers several trading companies, including two that are under UK sanctions, one of which is the successor of Lukoil's international trading arm, Litasco. Bloomberg noted in its report, Lukoil and Rosneft, Russia's biggest oil producers and exporters, were hit with U.S. sanctions last year, which prompted shifts in oil flows from Russia abroad, from the top companies to smaller, non-sanctioned players. The two together account for about half of Russia's total oil exports, or some 2 million barrels daily. Analysts predicted that, as a result of the sanctions, Indian buyers would start shunning Russian crude, but instead, early data for December 2025 suggested that Russian oil imports were on track to hit the highest in 6 months, reaching 1.85 million barrels daily, Kepler said in mid-December. That would be up from 1.83 million barrels daily in November, and the highest since June, when Indian buyers imported Russian crude at a rate of 2.1 million barrels daily. Prior to the U.S. sanctions, Rosneft was the top oil supplier to Reliance Industries for its Jamnagar refinery. But after the sanctions, per Bloomberg reports, the Indian company began looking for diversification options. Rosneft has a long-term supply deal with Reliance for 500,000 barrels daily. Overall, Reliance was the biggest buyer of Russian crude in the world in both 2024 and 2025, Bloomberg reported. The publication also said Russian oil flows to India shrank in December to the lowest in 3 years. Per LSEG data cited by Reuters in December, however, the flow of Russian oil to India in the same month was rather stable, at 1.2 million barrels daily, down from 1.77 million barrels daily in November. Much lower than Kepler's estimate, but much higher than the 800,000 BPD in daily flows that Bloomberg had predicted for December. The Venezuelan army has deployed forces to block the entrances to the presidential residence in Caracas. The footage posted online shows armored vehicles being pulled up to the palace, including a Dragoon 300 LFV-2 combat vehicle with a 90mm Mk3MA1 cannon. The military also detains and turns around local residents who are heading towards the residence. At the same time, the Venezuelan government announced that President Nicolas Maduro ordered all national defense plans to be put on hold. According to an official statement, they must be ready to perform tasks at the appropriate time and under the appropriate circumstances. The U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Maduro is captured and he is taken out of the country. As a reminder, the United States launched a military operation in Venezuela, and at least 10 explosions have been reported in the capital, Caracas. In the sky above the city, local residents recorded the flight of Chinook and Black Hawk transport helicopters, probably of the 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.